I'd like to call the Monday, July 25th meeting of the Planning Commission to order. If everybody would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and good evening to everyone. I'll run through the agenda real quick. Tonight's agenda consists of the consent agenda, a public hearing for a vacation for Quick Trip, a final plat for Quick Trip, site plan and design review for Asset Automotive, and a final plat for Blue Springs Commercial Center Lot 1, other business, and then adjournment. So with that, I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Wallace. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Duhan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is a public hearing. I will run through the procedure for a public hearing. I will open the public hearing, call for exhibits from our city attorney, ask for staff comments. The applicant will make their presentation. I'll call for witnesses in favor, then witnesses opposed, questions and general discussion among the commissioners, and then I'll close the public hearing and we will consider it for a vote. So with that, well, first I would like to welcome Bob McDonald here, who is filling in for Nancy Yendez tonight. She is on vacation, so we're happy to see Bob back with us this evening.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. So I would like to open the public hearing, which is a vacation of VAC-07-16-5400 for Quick Trip. And we are also going to hear the final plat for that at the same time. So now I'll call for the exhibits.
Mr. Chairman, the city has 8 exhibits. Number 1 is the staff report with attachments. Number 2 is the affidavit of publication and the examiner. Number 3 is the application with attachments. Number 4 is the 185-foot notification map. Number 5 is a list of names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. Number 6 is a copy of the letter sent to those property owners. Number 7 is Title 4 Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances. Number 8 is the 2014 Comprehensive Plan. Those are all of the exhibits the city would offer into the record at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Wright is going to make the staff presentation.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Before you this evening are 2 requests for the Quick Trip store number 217R, which is located at the northeast corner of Southwest 7 and 40 highways. The first request is a request for a 7.5-foot sewer easement vacation that was dedicated to the city in June 1996. This existing easement provided public service through the laundromat site and the former Ponderosa Steakhouse site. A new 15-foot wide sewer easement is proposed to the north of where this easement currently is located that will serve the new Quick Trip site, as well as whatever develops in the future here on the preliminary plat Lot 1, which is the former Ponderosa site. The reason for this vacation is the new Quick Trip building will go partially in this easement, so they're requesting to vacate that and then relocate it with a final plat to the north. This vacation of this easement will not impact any other property owners other than Quick Trip, and Public Works does consent to the vacation of this easement with a new easement being dedicated with the final plat. And the second request is for that final plat. This covers a 2.67 acres located at the northwest corner of Southwest 7 and 40 highways. The site plan design review for the site was approved back in November 2015, and then an amended preliminary plat came through in February 2016. Here's a look at the preliminary plat. As part of the platting process, there are a couple of items that will be required to be approved and completed before a building permit can be issued on the site. The first item is the approval and recording of a temporary access easement. That was a condition made with the amended preliminary plat back in February that requires a temporary access easement over all of the remainder of the Ponderosa Steakhouse site to provide full access to 40 Highway down with Clark's Tools and Sunset Plaza access. And then the other requirement is a development and maintenance agreement for on-site stormwater systems, which must be approved by the City Council. Escrow has already been posted for the proposed sidewalk improvements along 7 and 40 Highway as required. And then in addition to that, there are several items, conditions that are in the staff report that are required before a certificate of occupancy can be issued. For the completed Quick Trip, which would include the completion of dedicated left turn lanes at 40 and 7. That would be for eastbound 7 Highway or eastbound 40 Highway to northbound 7 Highway. Aligned intersection improvements down at Clark's Tool and Sunset Plaza, which Quick Trip has already coordinated that with Clark's Tools, and all other public improvements as required. As noted in the preliminary plat, city staff and MoDOT staff will continue to monitor traffic conditions at the full access point at 40 Highway and determine if any necessary changes are needed to ensure effective and safe traffic along 40 Highway. Staff does recommend approval of the sewer easement vacation, and staff recommends approval of the final plat subject to the 12 conditions included in the staff report. And I will note that Quick Trip is working on executing several off-site easements and the development and maintenance agreement. Those will go to City Council for approval. And in an effort to keep all the Quick Trip items on the same council agenda, both the vacation and the final plat will be reviewed by the City Council on Monday, August 15th. So the public hearing that was advertised for next Monday, August 1st, will still be on the agenda, but it will be open and then continued to the August 15th meeting. Okay. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Wright? Doesn't look like it.
All right, thanks.
Would the applicant like to make their presentation? If you could state your name, address, and be sworn in, please.
Good evening, Ron Calger, AGC Engineers, 405 South Leonard. Raise your hand, please.
You might have to restate that because your microphone wasn't hot.
Absolutely. Apologize for that. Ron Calger, AGC Engineers, 405 South Leonard, Liberty, Missouri, here on behalf of Quick Trip.
Raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear that you are about to give this case to the truth and justice?
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Chairman, Council, or Commission members, it's a pleasure to be here again. We've been before you several times. Andrew Smith, Quick Trip's representative, unfortunately could not be here today. He's on vacation this week, so you drew the short straw and got me. I think everything, we've worked with staff closely. Staff's worked very closely with us, and I think we've got all the issues hammered out, and if there's any questions, we're certainly here to answer those for you.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Calger? Commissioner Phillips.
Yes, sir.
It's more of a question just because I'm nosy. Been anxiously awaiting as we watch the buildings all get closed down. When are we actually going to see some buildings come down and construction start?
I think very shortly. Quick Trip's process is pretty laborious, internal process. They have vetted this out through their internal process. I think the last piece before that demolition permit is pulled would be getting this final plat process through this body and also the City Council, making sure that's going to happen. And then demo would, I think, start pretty soon. Now, just to be clear, it would just be the old Flower-Rama and the laundromat. The Ponderosa will stay, as you recall, for now. Yeah.
At least for now.
For now, correct.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
I just have a question on how you're going to monitor the traffic flow to determine how many accidents will it take to make sure that something else happens?
Yes, great question. That will certainly be in your city staff's purview, but it'll also be in the Missouri Department of Transportation's, MoDOT's. Vernon Koch, who is the permit specialist for this district of MoDOT, travels that stretch of highway coming to and from work every day. So he was very sensitive to the traffic concerns there. So it'll be certainly up to the city and the police department, but also up to MoDOT to watch that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Is there anybody that would like to speak in favor? All right, anybody that would like to speak in opposition? All right, I'll bring it back up here for discussion. Comments, questions? Commissioner Wallace?
Do you want to do these together?
Well, I got to close the public hearing before I can consider a motion.
Okay.
I was just...
Close the meeting.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and then we will consider each item individually. So the first would be for the vacation.
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Wallace.
I would like to make a motion for approval for vacation number VAC-07-16-5400 with the staff comments.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I had a second from Commissioner Bartolotta. This will be a roll call vote.
Planning Commissioner Haney. Commissioner Haney.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Aye.
Commissioner Bartolotta.
Aye.
Commissioner Duhan.
Aye.
Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace.
Aye.
Chairman Graham.
Aye. Motion carries. That recommendation will be sent to the August 15th City Council meeting. Now I would entertain a motion on item 3.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Wallace.
I'd like to make a motion for approval for the final plat PF-07-16-5399 for Quick Trip and the staff's recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Aye. I'm sorry.
I have a second from Commissioner Bartolotta. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, and that recommendation will be sent to City Council as well on August 15th. You're very welcome. Next item on the agenda is site plan and design review for Asset Automotive, and we will hear that in conjunction with the final plat for it as well. And Mr. Jury is going to present that to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the Commissioners. Before you, you have a site plan design review and the final plat. Site plan design review for Asset Automotive and the final plat for the Blue Springs Commercial Center Lot 1, which is the site which Asset Automotive is looking at. The site plans for approval by this body, the final plat will be a recommendation to the City Council. The location, you guys have looked at it previously before with a conditional use permit and also rezoning, but it's located at 2450 Northwest South Outer Road, which is about 1,100 feet west of the intersection of Northwest 22nd Street and South Outer Road. It's currently vacant, but Asset Automotive is looking to develop that. So with the plan, they have a 5,800 square foot building that they're sitting on about a 2-acre site, a little less than a 2-acre site. They're planning on using this as a vehicle sales, also as vehicle repair in a limited fashion, possibly just for repairs to vehicles they're selling, maybe depending on how the applicant wants to move forward in the future, I guess. But they might use it towards for public use as well to repair vehicles that the consumers might want to bring in. But they're looking at developing this, and the front portion of the site, there's a landscape barrier with an axis area or access drive that will be new, and it's in a location that's okay with Public Works Department, but the area closest to the building will be consumer parking, customer parking, and then on the western side will be the vehicle sales for display of their merchandise. The back area to the south will be for their employee parking and possibly some vehicle repairs as well back there. So that's the main use of the site. They will be required to improve northwest south outer road, half road improvements, widening the road, as well as including pedestrian improvements of a 5-foot ADA accessible sidewalk. They meet most of the requirements for the UDC. One of the areas that they are requesting a variance from is the landscape plan, which we're looking at here. And they are above the requirement for most of the required landscaping in certain areas, except for the western buffer, where they're short 5 plant units, but all in all, they are providing 92 plant units above what they are required. And a lot of those plant units are actually to the south of the site in the southern buffer, which is between them and the residential units to the south. So that is definitely a beneficial thing that we look favorably upon. One of the issues with the site has been the stormwater. We're looking at hopefully getting a stormwater study here shortly, but Public Works has not approved that as of yet. And with that, the final plat would be required to have a drainage easement to cover what the stormwater study is showing. So I'll show some of the renderings and elevations to give a purview of the building itself. So here's a view from the north, so the view that you would see from South Outer Road. Here's a view angled from the eastern side of the property, angled from the northwest on this side. And then this is what the service bays would look like. They're planning on having 6 service bays, and I believe possibly 4 technicians working with the service bays, and a total of maybe 15 employees altogether throughout the entire building, between sales and service. There's a view from the back as well. With that, that covers most of the site plan design review. We'll go to the conditions for the site plan design review. Staff recommends the approval of the site plan design review, but the applicant must provide the financial guarantee or the improvements prior to the release of final plat recording. If we do receive the financial guarantee before the City Council, we may be able, their staff can remove this condition off of the recommendation to the City Council. But we are asking that they financially guarantee the half road and the pedestrian improvements that are required for that. The stormwater drainage study, before that can go to the City Council. With the final plat, we'll cover it a little bit deeper in this, but before that can go to the City Council, the drainage easement must be sized correctly, and the Public Works Department must approve the stormwater drainage study. And the development and maintenance agreement goes alongside with that, covering the drainage and the maintenance of said drainage. Beyond that, a couple small things. Condition 7, prior to building permit issuance, construction permit plan set must include the location of the required bicycle parking, and the alternative compliance landscape plan should be calculated correctly on the landscape table. The plan that they showed for the landscaping had enough units when staff counted it. It's just calculating the table correctly that needs to be corrected. And then one of the plan sets that they submitted actually included a call out and a detail of the bicycle parking with enough spaces that meets the requirement for bicycle parking in the UDC. But the location of that should be included in the building set, which will be in the front of the building near the main entrance. Beyond that, there's 10 staff conditions, and staff recommends approval. I'll go on and look at the final plat. The majority of the final plat is recommended for approval. I'll pull that up. They have all the utility easements and the landscape easement required. The only two issues, I guess, the main two issues are the escrow, as talked about before. The escrow needs to be provided, and the drainage easement needs to be sized correctly once they have a stormwater study that Public Works approves. So staff recommends the approval, or recommends Planning Commission's recommendation of approval for the final plat with the following 6 conditions. The financial guarantee being the 3rd condition, stormwater drainage study and associated drainage improvements must be approved by Public Works Department prior to final plat approval, and alongside that, the development and maintenance agreement as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission.
Any questions for Mr. Cherry? Commissioner Fairbanks.
Do you have any idea how far the on the north side that structure sets out from the 2nd floor? Do you know how far out that's going to jut?
How far out the
orange thing?
Oh, okay. Let me pull that up. I believe, let's see. The structure itself is a maximum of 22 feet tall, and that's at the top of that orange parapet wall at the front of the building. And so I believe that's probably only 2 or 3 feet, it looks like, above the main top of the building.
Well, but how far out?
Oh, okay. And then I'm guessing that looks like it's probably around 5 feet jutting out. I don't know if the,
It just seems disproportionate to me. It seems like it really stands out.
Any other questions for Mr. Cherry? All right. Would the applicant like to come forward and make their presentation? You could state your name and address for us, please.
It's Matt Slish, Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. On behalf of Mark Leadham and 2020 LLC. I think Nathan's covered most everything in there. I think the conditions that have been brought up a few times is stormwater, drainage study, and the easements. And I think Mr. McCabe and myself have spoke many times about this today, including. So I think we should be able to wrap that up tomorrow and get that taken care of. So unless you guys have any specific questions, I don't know that I need to bore you back with that regurgitation of it all. But yeah, I'm here for answers.
Any questions for Mr. Slish? Doesn't look like it. All right, thank you. So we will consider each item individually. So first would be item 4, the site plan design review. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Haney.
Make a motion to approve SPDR 07165390 with the 10 staff recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Billups. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item would be the final plat. I would entertain a motion for that.
Gonna find it here. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve PF 07-165391, I believe with the 6 recommendations, staff recommendations on it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Haney.
Second.
Do I have a second from Commissioner Duhan? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That recommendation will be sent to City Council. Next item on the agenda is other business. Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 8th, and we do have agenda items for that meeting.
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. Before that, if I could defer, I can't see Jim. Okay. We have 2 other items we want to highlight as well before we
Well, I was going to do those after.
Oh, after? All right. I apologize. I'll defer to your judgment. In that case, for the next Planning Commission meeting, which is scheduled, as you noted, for August 8th, right now we have 2 different projects currently scheduled. One is the Northridge Cottages, some senior family on Northridge Drive, just west of behind the North Price Chopper. You've seen a few of those approvals previously. It's been postponed a few times for various reasons, but they are looking forward to bringing forward a site plan design review and PRO final plan. We're hoping to see that for the August 8th, but that is still kind of on the bubble. But we are also looking at Scooter's Coffee House at Country Club Shopping Center, just right in front of the Aaron's. We're by Blue Springs Fitness and Central Bank of the Midwest, I believe is what it's called now, on the east side of 7 Highway, also in the area of the North Price Chopper. And they have site plan design review, preliminary and final plat associated with that, and so that too, we have a few missing pieces at the moment, but we're hoping to have those all wrapped up for the August 8th. So 2 different projects, a number of different applications, and both are, again, as I mentioned, kind of on the bubble, but we'll hopefully have them come forward for the 8th.
Okay, perfect. Then the other items for noting is Casey Communities of All Ages, which is going to take place on Tuesday, August 2nd. Mr. Holly would like to comment on that.
Yeah, it's a cooperative effort between Casey Communities for All Ages and AARP to provide a universal design charrette. Again, it is August 2nd, Tuesday. It will be held from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. and lunch will be served. Anyone who would like to attend, please give me a call and let me know. I'd love to have you. The area that we're kind of focusing on is an area excuse me, around inside Greg Grounds Park near Memorial Lake along the trail. The outcome that we're looking for really is a set of concepts that can be translated to pretty much any project within the city. So although our focus will be this area near the lake, and will be the exercise we'll be doing will involve some amenities that could be put around the lake. The outcome that we're looking for is not that those amenities necessarily be built at the lake, but that the concepts used in the charrette can then be transferable anywhere in the city. So again, love to have you. If you would like to come, give me a call, and I will email you the information so that you have all the information that you need before the charrette. Should be interesting and enlightening.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Also under other business, we have a paper shredding event coming up Saturday, August 27th from 9 to noon at City Hall at 903 West Main Street. Is there any more to be said on that?
Just that cars can line up going westbound on Main Street into the parking lot, and that'll run again from 9 a.m. to noon or until the truck is full. However, we believe that we have the capacity to last till noon. We do ask that residents limit their the amount of paper that they drop off to no more than 4 paper grocery bags per person. That way we can ensure that everybody who comes is able to shred.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Any other business to be brought up? Going once? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Duhan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Billups. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.